Okie dokie, boys and girls. So, I just got back from the family trip about half an hour ago, and now I'm back in the training room. What a surprise! So, we have some goals left to hit, and first of all, we're gonna do a leg day. When I left off, onto the family trip, I was I was very tired. Had just attempted a lot of bulking goals, failed most of them, but got stronger on some, including the squat. And I am honestly still feeling it, to be honest, because I've been eating a lot of food I'm not used to, enjoying the food, I should say. I have been walking a lot with my family, so I had a little spasm in my quadriceps that's still there, and basically, I could take the day off, I guess, but I've already not rested completely a couple of days on the family trip, but I haven't done as much, of course. So time to get back into the swing of things. Even though the conditions aren't perfect, we have all seen the meme of grandma saying, "I can't get up," and if you don't, if you're not careful, right, that's gonna happen to you. You're gonna get into the mindset of, "Oh shit, I'm weak, so I have to rest." So you grow even weaker because you're not training, and then you keep resting, right? At some point, you're gonna have to get up, and I think for me, it's about time because I have 1 month left until I go to Japan, actually, and that's gonna be another few weeks of not being able to train to the best of my ability for this bulk. So, on to new trainings, onto some other max attempts before leaving to Japan, basically. And yeah, that's gonna be fun. So today I'm gonna get back into the swing of things in a slow and controlled fashion, of course. I'm not reckless or anything, but I am gonna do some Nordic curls. I am gonna do some squats. And while my original plan was to do 10 sets of squats, I'm gonna cut it back because I do still feel my legs, and I feel like recovering my legs is gonna take a few days of like really slow running and not doing that much work, basically. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But other than that, feeling great, excited to get back into the swing of things. And these next couple of days, I might be carrying like around a few kilos extra. I don't know yet. In terms of bulking, it's nice, right? I gained weight, but it's not going to be useful weight. This is the kind of weight that drags you down in calisthenics. When you gain weight slowly, basically it's going to be muscle. It's not going to be water. It's not going to be in the way. But the weight I've gained is water weight, is fat. It's not useful. It's bloating. It's inflammation, right? So it's going to drag me down quite a bit. When people say like, "Oh shit," when you gain a kilo of weight in calisthenics, your planche strength goes down by half. That's because they binge eat it. They're binge eating, right? They just eat like a fuck ton of pizza, for example, and then the next day they wake up 1 to 2 kilos heavier and they can't planche anymore. But if you gain the weight slowly, right, that's the good weight. That's the muscle. That's not gonna bother you that much. It's not gonna make you weaker. But for me, I have the first kind at the moment. So, like I said, we're gonna get back into the swing of things slowly. Now I'm gonna head outside and do some Nordic curls. Alrighty, so I'm warming up the Nordic curls here. I first did finger assisted stuff, double finger, single finger, pinky finger, single pinky finger, and then just some other stuff. Now I'm warming up with the Nordic curl. I'm gonna add 4 kilos for my next warm up set, and then hopefully, if all goes well, but I'm feeling a bit stiff, I will hit a PR with 8 kilos of Nordic curls because I've done the 8 kilo Nordic curl for 2 sets of 1 rep. But it would be damn nice if I can do it for multiple reps, right? I mean, I really like those kind of trainings where at first your 1 rep max is, let's say 1 hour pull-up or a Nordic curl, right? And then you just start repping it out because you get more and more used to the exercise. And I just think that process is so much fun. So I'm gonna try and do the same thing for the Nordic curl, 8 kilos. Last time I got 1 rep. Now I'll get 2. And next time I'll get 3, 4, 5 until we get 100. That's how it works. I cheated a little bit. Let's do another sit. Yes. Holy shit. Okay. One more finisher sit, just some pump stuff. Okie dokie, so the Nordic curl is a very niche exercise, so chances are you're not training it, but if you are training the Nordic curl, a bit of a tidbit, a golden tidbit that I can give you right now is when you're doing the finger assisted version, I mean, we all have done pause reps in the past, right? But usually when you pause, like some exercise you're doing, it's going to be at the bottom of the rep. So for the bench, it's going to be here. For the pistol squat, it's going to be at the bottom of the squat. But for these Nordic curls, or these assisted ones, I kind of tried pausing here at the top of the rep. And when you do that, you know, the burn is very, very good in your hamstrings. And then you move back down slowly, and it really just emphasizes the hamstrings only. Of course, your fingers are going to hurt as well because they're resisting and they're taking over more and more and more of your hamstrings as they get tired. But you will really feel it in the back of your legs. And that's because, you know, when you think about it, the end of the rep in a pistol, or in a squat or in a bench is at the bottom, right? But in this case, the end of the rep is at the top. So you want to, you know, pause at the end of the rep, which is in this case the top position when your arms are straight. You know, you hold it a little bit there, and then you go back down slowly, and then you go back, and it will put a constant tension on your legs. Because if you pause at the bottom, you know, you kind of have your belly touching the ground. There's not as much strain on your legs. It's kind of like weird. But when you go up and you do it, you know, it feels amazing. Amazing as in fucking excruciating, right? But that's amazing in the context of training. So anyway, I'm gonna do a couple sets of pistol squats here. Like I mentioned in the beginning, the original goal was 10 sets. That's not gonna happen. I'm only gonna do 5. But when you're not feeling 100% in your training, you know, when the recovery is not going as planned, what's worse than doing 5 sets in my case, right? The worst thing that I can do is do 0 sets, is do nothing at all. So even if you can't do whatever, you know, level you wanted to do, whatever intensity you wanted to do, like, it doesn't matter, right? Do something anyway. Because, like, let's say you wanted to do 10 sets of squats today, like me, right? And last time you did 8 sets, or you did 10 sets with like 2 kilos less. It doesn't matter. But that's what you did last time. And in some sense, it doesn't even matter what you did last time. Like, what matters is not what you accomplished yesterday. It's going to be what you accomplished today and what you're going to accomplish tomorrow. So try not to look back too much. And that's something that I'm saying it to you right now, but I also have to tell this to myself, because I'm often like conflicted in between, right? Like, oh fuck, you know, should I do 5 sets? Because I'm pretty sure I've done 5 sets of 36 kilos in the past already, you know. Does that mean I've gotten weaker? No, it just means that there are some circumstances that I have to get around, and the optimal way to do that is to, you know, tone it down a little bit so that I can recover and get stronger later on. So that's enough yapping. Let's do some fucking squats. This is 24 kilos, just a little feeler, a rep, and then I'm gonna add it or I'm going to up it to 36 and go for 5 sets of 3 reps. Yes, with 36 kilos. So I'm going to do this set and then it'll cut to the sets of squats. All right. I feel stiff as a cardboard. All right, set number 1. Felt better than expected, to be honest, but I'm gonna stick to the plan. 5 reps. No, 5 sets, 3 reps. All right, that was set number 5. Whew. Now, the training is not completely done. I'm gonna do a bit more stretching because I do think keeping my mobility on point is important. You know, during the family trip, one of the days I didn't do any strength training. Instead, what I did is I stretched for 1 hour. Now, it's not strength training, but I still consider it training. I train every day, and boy, that was a workout. Like, my mobility used to be pretty okay, you know, especially in the hips, you know, touching the toes and everything. I used to be able to go with my head in between my shins, but that's a long time ago now, and I haven't been maintaining it. So I noticed during the holiday that I could use some stretching, I could use some mobility. So what I'm gonna do after this training, or you know, after I shut the camera down, is just some passive stretching for the hips, for the ankles, for whatever comes in useful to the pistol squat, because I don't want to put any more pressure on my joints by spending time in the pistol squat position. Because, like I said, I have a bit of a cramp here that's been turning up every time I go for a run in my leg. I want to let that heal. I don't want to put any unnecessary pressure on it. But yeah, that's it for today's training. Very happy with how it went, actually, because I'm feeling bloated. I'm feeling a little bit tired, as you do after a family trip or whatever vacation. But still, you know, managed to get it done. Like, managing to get it done is the greatest feeling there is, to be honest. And you know, even though it's not my greatest performance ever, I still got some good stuff out of this training, especially the Nordic curls, I guess, because 2 sets of 2, kinda. I know I cheated a little bit on the first set with 8 kilos added on my back. That's a fat PR, you know, that's double the volume I did last time. And it's only gonna get better from here. Like, the Nordic curl at this point might be the first goal within reach, because I'm gonna do 5 sets of 7 the next training, and some trainings after that I'm gonna do 5 sets of 8. That's 40 total Nordic curls, you know. And if I take my time on a set and go to the max after that, I might be able to reach 20, which would be just insane, you know. And I feel like with these Nordic curls, there is just so much potential still there. And the great thing about them is, like, it's such a niche exercise, it's difficult to grasp what the limit is. Like, some guy did 100 Nordic curls in 1 set. That's fucking insanity. But almost no one trains it, so the chances of that being the limit are small to none, you know, little to none. Like, there is such a huge unknown world for hamstring strength in the regard of bodyweight training, and that makes it, you know, it makes it so much fun, because it's an adventure, you know. You can figure out for yourself how far you want to go. There is no max, like, world record on Nordic curls with 10 kilos. There is no, you know, weighted 1 rep max world record for Nordic curls. Not as far as I know, and that makes it fun, you know, that makes it fun to explore. And I guess the same kind of applies for pistol squats, where people have done it, but it's a niche exercise. So there's guys out there doing it with 100 kilos added, but who's to say that's the limit? People are squatting 500 kilos. Why wouldn't we be able to pistol squat, 200 kilos, right? I mean, we'll see, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to the coming leg days. Tomorrow we have a push day, so I'll see you then.